let's look at common sense. Common sense is where you can understand, you can value, you can react to something. The word common sense itself comes from something communal. The biggest part of common sense we get to learn is from our parents, mainly the mothers, because when we are young, most of the time we spend it with the mothers. We have a lot of communities. Some of us are from Africa, so we have things that are common in Africa and they're not common way out of Africa. Even if you come down to Africa, still you're going to find some things common in some areas and some things are not common in different areas. It's only us that have common sense that get to be controlled. You cannot control someone without common sense. I'll give you an example. If you look at someone who's mad, for instance, these people are taken out of society. If you look at killers, they are taken to jail. In all societies, there's places they build for people that will react negatively to common sense. Because as humans, we are meant to be ruled. We are meant to be controlled. And if there's no control, then the world is not there. Then we are not there. There's nothing we can do. This is what happens. Like, if you are at your job, there's set rules for the job. These set rules are there to manipulate you. When you look at them, they might not favor you, but you didn't make them, and you need a job, and you need the money, so you have to follow them. All the companies you're working for, they just manipulate you, and they make you work for them. This is playing with your mind. And the only way they can play with your mind is by use of your own common sense. If you look at the politicians, if you look at the leaders and elders, all these people use experience. It's the experience they get from the communities that they use to beat you. That's why most of the times you get to find that before elections, you're going to find the leaders always around you, giving you money and everything. But at the end of the elections, these people will never be seen around. So the cycle changes. Before elections, they look for you. After elections, you look for them, simply because they know how to play with the mind. If you look at job owners, for instance, they set rules that you have to follow to get a job, to get that salary. And you have to really work them out to get the money at the end of the day. That's for the employers. If you look at the politicians, if you look at the leaders and elders, all these people use experience. That's why most of the times you get to find that before elections, you're going to find the leaders always around you, giving you money and everything. But at the end of the elections, these people will never be seen around. So the cycle changes. Before elections, they look for you. After elections, you look for them, simply because they know how to play with the mind. So if you look at this, you find these people are playing with our minds. But we, using our common sense in everything we do, we have to make choices, because at the end of the day, you have to choose whether to be the masterminder and play and manipulate other people's mind, or you be the masterminded and your mind is being played, or your mind is being used. It's either you have to think a lot, you have to risk a lot, you have to invest a lot, or you have to join those that play with the minds of the people. For instance, I'm from Africa. You find the West plays along with us, Right now, most of our countries have independence, but at the end of the day, we are not independent because systems were set, manipulation has been set, everything has been done to make sure we have set rules we follow as a country. For instance, I can give you an example of borders. I can come from a different country, you come from the neighboring country, there's no wall separating you, but at the end of the day, you guys are two different people from a different state. I'll say, like, I'm from Nigeria and another person is from, let me say, Ghana or somewhere neighboring Nigeria. So at the end of the day, we have a border that is set in between us. The only reason we have this border is because our mindset has been made to believe that there is a border. The only reason we see a difference is because our mindset has been manipulated to see that there is a difference between me and them, between me and you, who is my neighbor. So the only way you can work this out is you better go and join the people that do the manipulation. And this is what our leaders do. Our leaders come, We give them the votings, we work with them, but at the end of the day, they end up working with the people who set the system, because the whole world is all about system. So at the end of the day, it's your own choice to choose. You're either going to be manipulated or you're going to manipulate some people. So it's up to you to know where you're going to be fit. However, you can have a balance. You can be manipulated at the end of the time when you're also manipulative and get somewhere. So that's my word. Thank you, guys. So we need to work out and make sure we get somewhere, make sure we work on some things in smart ways, because at the end of the day, we need to use more of the brain and less of the body, because most of us are using more of the body and less of the brain. So thank you, guys. That was my word for today.